Testing, testing, one, two, three. Oh boy. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the So That Happened podcast. It has been a while. Um, I'm just making sure that the stream is working, and it is, so that is good. Thank you, everybody, for joining. People that are also watching on live stream as well. Um, this was going to be an entirely different topic today. Um, but I just saw something on YouTube that made me extremely mad. So this is going to be pretty much a rant from all of us. But before we get to that, I think I should probably catch you guys up on why we haven't had a podcast in a while. Um, it's mostly just me. Because I was the one that was kind of delaying it every time. Isn't that right, guys? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been like a great month of like on Sunday being like, so is Cody? Are we gonna do it this time?
Oh yeah. Oh, also. Oh wait, I completely forgot we didn't introduce. So who are you people? Like
Oh, they
everybody.
know what our names are.
Well,
It's on the screen.
well, there could be some new person. Who knows?
Yeah, there's probably there's three. There's
Oh,
over
okay.
300.
No,
There's definitely at
no.
least one.
There could.
I'm Tristan.
And I'm a Prussian cat.
Man, that just ruined everything. And that it's just the live stream blows up. It's just over.
No, guys, it's all a lie. I'm the Emperor Tiger Star you want. He's a phony.
And I'm the stepbackhistory.com.
Shenanigans are happening. So anyway, the reason why we haven't had a podcast in a while is I have been working on new videos and on the book. So if you guys don't know, yes, I'm making a book. I'm going to announce officially. I kind of leaked it in the last video, but it's really hard because I actually I basically completely rewrote half of the plot, and we are like 3 months into writing. So this has just been crunch time for me lately. And so that's why videos and the podcast haven't been really happening, because I didn't want to do the podcast while people were waiting for videos, because I know that's all people would be asking me about. So now that I have at least 2 videos out, I think it's good to go back to the podcast schedule. The book, I've figured out where the book is going, and I have a lot of chapters already down. So, yeah, that is pretty much the only reason. I've just been busy. So anyway, the reason for let's get to the meat. Why is this called the YouTube Rant Edition?
Are we going to rant about the YouTube?
I think we might. Oh man.
Could very much happen. I think.
Okay, so on Friday,
Facebook has gotten enough ranting recently anyway.
yeah. So on Friday, of course, as all of you know, there's a shooting that happened, and I was watching the news. I was watching CNN, and it was almost like they were eager. Like, they were talking about the shooting, another shooting once again, like it was almost like a football game. Like it was, it was like an esport of Siege. Like this was, what are the numbers? How many died? Who is it? And they had it just down to a T. It was like a circus. And then I saw one of them interview a girl, or try to interview a girl that just got out of the school, and they asked her how she felt. I mean, imagine that. Imagine you're in school, a shooting happens, and then you just have these like media cockroaches basically come up and try to ask you how you feel about everybody just dying. So I just got mad, and I made the video in about an afternoon, and I released it, and apparently this was a thing that everybody else was feeling as well. This was...
Yep. There's data backing it up.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that. If you haven't seen the video, the video's basic gist is that the media, basically cable news, relies on advertisements, and whenever there is a shooting that happens, people watch the news and people watch those advertisements. So the cable news is getting revenue from that. And they get more revenue the more they can milk every little nugget of information that comes out from it. And that's fine when it's, some normal political thing. It's padding, it's stupid. But when they start talking about who the shooter was, what was the shooter's motivation, why did he do this, how many people did he kill, what was his life like? Like, I saw another news article talking about the kid and why he did it. And it's just, they don't understand that this is causing other people, other lonely losers, to see this and think, wow, if this person gets, if all of these shooters are getting their lives analyzed like there's some sort of like mastermind, then if I do it, I'll get the same treatment. And
not to mention, as soon as they release the info on who the person is, both sides try to frame the person as on the other side.
Yeah. And that's
like I saw Photoshop things of both a Hillary Clinton hat and a MAGA hat on him. Like just
Hillary
like
Clinton
within
hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as soon as the shooter's name got released, people on both sides took his Facebook account and either photoshopped a Hillary Clinton hat or a MAGA hat to try to frame him on the other side, to try to make the other side look bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
People in America are almost like, these mass shootings have become almost like a pointing contest. Like, see, my side isn't as bad as your side. But that's not really the point that we're getting to.
Well, to also add on top of that, it's all, even when these attacks happen too, like, there's this, like, by giving the attention to the people who are doing it, you're, in cases like with terrorist attacks specifically too, you're drawing attention towards groups like ISIS and such when they do these attacks, and like give them undue attention and kind of push people who are kind of the lonely loser kids to also radicalize themselves in that direction.
Yeah. So, yeah, but anyway, what this relates to YouTube is, I was on YouTube today. I was on the trending tab, and I don't know why. I don't know why I've been paying attention to the trending tab the last few days. I just was, and it didn't update for 2 days since Friday. They were just the same videos in the same spot. And YouTube likes to say that these videos are chosen by an algorithm, and it's an algorithm from comments and likes and mixed like that. Yet, none of the videos changed, even though there's how many videos are made every day on YouTube. It changed today, and you can go on it right now. About 5 of the videos, about 5 of the videos are about the royal wedding, sponsored by ABC News, NBC News, or other media sites. The top one is from SNL. There are probably 4 music videos. And then there is one video by CNN that has 1 million views, and it's an entire profile on why the shooter did it. So YouTube is promoting what this kid did on its trending page. And they should just give up this charade that this is some algorithm choosing it. Like H3H3 even said, this is a paid promotions thing. These are companies sponsoring their videos. They're paying YouTube, and YouTube is putting them on a thing that the regular public will see. And now CNN and other news people are paying YouTube to promote this thing that this horrible kid did. So now it's not just cable news. Now it's also a platform that we all make our living from. And it just infuriates me. So anyway, and there's actual evidence to back this up, which Tristan has. So Tristan, I've been talking way too much. You take ahead. I'm mad.
All right.
I'm quite mad.
So I'll preface this because it's actually when in your video you mentioned that it's about the internet, and while the internet is a part of it, it actually is pretty old. My dissertation research is about I'm a I used to be before I dropped out of my PhD. I was a technology historian and a communications historian about the news. And so um, when cable news became a thing, which was like in the 80s, there had been only a handful of school shootings. And it's definitely like hockey puck since Columbine, because Columbine was all over CNN for a long time. But the reason why they've become so sensationalist, on top of falling ad revenues that come from the internet, but also because of higher competition for different types of media sources. Like if you think about pre-cable news, there was like 3 networks, and they had a nightly news broadcast at 6, and that was it. That was your news for the day, you know?
Or the
Walter
newspaper.
Cronkite.
Yeah.
Or the newspaper, which like you maybe got 2 editions a day, maybe. And so when you end up with like the 24-hour news network, the first one was CNN, and the idea was news all the time, which means that whatever's going on, if there's nothing else to cover, as Cody, you pointed out in your video very succinctly, that they basically, whenever something happens, they have to gravitate and obsess over it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that involves trying to expose as much information that they think that the audience wants from these tragedies as possible. But yeah, it ends up with them platforming and giving like a voice to like these people and the things they do, and making this kind of thing. Like I also remembered, I have very vague memories, and I think this was like when you guys were babies, about the Unabomber and like Timothy McVeigh and stuff, where there was these like he had this like 10,000 page manifesto, and we ended up finding out so much about this person's beliefs because he committed acts of murder. A more recent example would be the Anders Breivik shooting that happened, where he murdered like 70 teenagers a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
And everybody knew about his crazy racist like 10,000 page manifesto that came out of the media obsession with him. And I do think that there is a rule already in place, kind of an unofficial rule, that you don't give attention to suicides, because people because there's like demonstrated things that if somebody commits suicide and you publish it, that you're likely to commit like to make more suicides happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with these acts of mass murder, I don't see why that's any different.
I think this is something that like they are going to have to implement some sort of self-censorship. Like I know it's always bad when people say like censorship and stuff. I'm not talking about censoring cable news and stuff, but journalism has ethics, and journalism has its own sort of self-regulation that they should abide by. And I know this because I was a journalism major before I switched, but that was like the main thing. That was the main tenet, is that there are rules that you have to have. And this can simply be changed by just one rule. And the thing that's disturbing, though, is that cable news almost took these ethics that have existed for, ever since newspapers have been around, and they've thrown them out the window, because cable news does not operate like regular journalism does. It is entertainment. It can't sustain itself if it acts like a regular news station. It can't act like the nightly news that you see on NBC, because its entire thing relies on people viewing it. If people aren't viewing it, then people aren't watching the ads, and the advertisers pull themselves out. I was going to actually mention this in the video, but it kind of pulled away from it. There was a cable news station that tried to not be like the other ones, and it was called Al Jazeera America. And they were
putting out some good shit too.
They were pretty much like, they were very bland, very professional. They were almost like the nightly news from NBC or your local news station, but 24/7. They didn't really sensationalize anything. They said everything in a dull, matter-of-fact manner, and they died. I think Al Jazeera America lasted like a year or two, and it just couldn't survive in the American market because it wasn't sensationalized. So you can, by Al Jazeera dying, it's a precedent that shows that cable news has to do this to live. This is their money, and that's the most disturbing thing of all, is that they will never self-regulate, because if they
Because
do,
they have to compete with the internet.
yeah. So now their survival is based on sensationalizing these mass shooters. That's
Cody, we're getting requests to switch the chat to slow mode because there's been some spam stuff.
How do you switch to slow mode?
It should be in these streaming options.
Oh, let me go. Is that an added delay?
No, there's something that should be like slow mode for the chat. It might be on like the second panel.
Oh, I have to go to advanced settings. One sec.
Yeah.
All right, slow mode. There we go.
So that they can have the conversation too.
Yep, that works. So anyway, yeah, so Al Jazeera, yeah, I know Al Jazeera supports some shady shit, but what they had in the cable news thing was pretty quality. It was pretty quality cable news, but it just couldn't survive. But anyway, the thing that made me pissed is when YouTube is now supporting these practices by basically, and I'm going to say it because there is no way that trending is not paid. And I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but there's no way that's not. They're basically getting paid by CNN to promote this thing that makes them more money. So,
or Fox or Vivo or whoever
or MSNBC. And so what and it's like, where does this end now? You know? It's like, this is now almost a reflection of, this is like the culmination of everything that social media and cable news and the internet and the drive for fame has created in this almost monster. And you know, I'm not the one that's, you know, I'm not the first one who's thought this. I think now everyone is sort of coming to that conclusion that, okay, this is not simply because of, I mean, this, you know, well, I'm not going to bring in the gun debate, but it's like, it's almost like it's become so frequent that guns aren't the only thing that's happening here. It's the culture that's surrounding it, and it's a culture surrounding mass shootings. And yeah, that's,
they've sort of become a thing in and of themselves.
Yeah, they've become their own culture. I mean, you go on to 4chan and Reddit, and there are a lot of people that do celebrate this. They actually do think that the shooters that go out are heroes. And
it's not even just shooters. Like, this kind of happened between this episode and the last episode, but like, there was a van attack here in Toronto, and I was like probably only maybe like 10 kilometers away on the street where it happened. And like,
yeah.
And of course, he does that, and we spend the next like 3 weeks talking about incels.
Oh yeah, that was an incel that did it, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I incels was going nuts over that, because I don't know why I just sometimes frequent those communities, and it's, yeah,
that's like the Nietzschean abyss.
I mean, we just gotten so numb to the whole thing, because like the other day I was working, you know, and someone's like, "Oh, did you hear that there was another shooting in Santa Fe?" And no one was really sad or anything. The only thing was that one of the coworkers said, "Oh, I didn't know Santa Fe was in Texas." And then we just kind of moved on, and we just gotten to the point where it doesn't even faze anyone anymore.
And that's kind of like, doesn't that just mean that this thing's gonna get worse? Because if people start getting desensitized to these shootings, like, you know, you can kill 10 people.
It's become a high score count.
Yeah, you can kill 10 people.
I mean, like, we don't even cover most of them. Like, I think on average now in the United States, there's on average one a day. It's just like,
yeah, but Matt,
the school ones,
the way that they qualify mass shootings is
more than 3 people, I think.
Yeah, and normally that just qualifies for gang violence, which is an entirely different beast itself. But that's why I said in the video the specific type of one. It's this lone wolf going against, unarmed people, and that's the thing that's really drastically rising, and it's because the people that are doing these shootings are the ones that are on the internet, that are, on the forums, and I think this kid, I don't want to give him any promotion or anything, but he explicitly like said that he did this for his message to come out, and the media doesn't care. They're going to promote it no matter what. So yeah, it just makes you sad. Just makes me more sad.
And I think to myself,
don't say it.
What a horrible world.
Well, you don't say it. But anyway, I feel like we should
move on to the subscription rant.
Subscription rant. You can go on the subscription rant if you want.
Well, remember like there was a
YouTube fessed up that they were unsubscribing people.
Yeah. You do go ahead. You.
Yeah. So basically, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that either in your subscription boxes you haven't been seeing all the videos of all the people you subscribe to, or you've seen YouTubers complain about it, because almost every YouTuber has complained about it at some point. And that's why, like, view counts are down, and like a lot of people are getting Patreons and not relying on just ad money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, YouTube staff made a video, and someone asked them about this, and basically they're like, well, you see, we don't want like spam in your subscription box because you don't watch every channel all the time, so we're going to use the mysterious algorithm so that way some channels you only see the subscriptions some part of the time, and that's why we made the bell. And yeah, they pretty much admitted that they were deliberately not showing subscriptions in their box, because remember, when you subscribe to a channel, you don't want to see the videos they're doing, because that's how it works.
Is this why like I randomly lose 100 subscribers like once a month? Like in one day?
That's a thing for you?
That's a different thing.
Why do you actually lose like 100 subscribers? Like, or is it? I hear there's fake accounts sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's hearing out inactive accounts.
A lot of fake accounts. Because for me, like once a year, there will be a day where like on a day I'll just lose like 1,000 subs, and it happens like almost the same time every year. And it's because YouTube's removing like dead channels and stuff.
I don't even
fake accounts.
I don't really pay attention to my subs. I think when like past 1 million, I'm kind of like, okay, once it hits 1,500,000, then I'll pay attention. But it's like sometimes I see the graph and there's like a little tiny dip. And
well, aren't you fancy?
Yeah.
I'm just shut up.
But I'll be cool once I get 100,000. So all I need is for how many of you guys are out there? So I need like 65,000 of you to come out, and then we're good.
Hey, 40,000 though.
Meanwhile, I'm at 197K. 197.4K, so if 2,600 of you can just randomly subscribe to me, that would be nice.
What are you going to do for your 200,000?
I don't know, maybe start like a Hearts of Iron game or something, where I can die in Ecuador.
I'd want to do Hearts of Iron again. I do.
Oh, you can join the Celebrate. It'll draw more people in.
Yeah, I'll do it. Just let me know. I'll do that.
Oh man, now I'm shilling for the trending tab. Oh no. I've become everything
I guess
again.
I guess this is less of. I think our YouTube rant is kind of almost over a little bit. I think if you guys want, we can go on to questions if you want.
Well, yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
So, attention everyone.
Ooh.
We briefly had a change in the world map. If you're a map nerd like me, you always get excited when you have an excuse to buy a brand new map, because now your map is outdated. There's a civil war going on in Yemen that no one seems to care about, but it's happening and it's horrible. But basically, the United Arab Emirates, they took the island of Socotra from Yemen, and if you look at a map, it's like this big island that's like next to Somalia. It's like really important for trade routes, and it has those weird alien-looking trees that are really cool. For whatever reason, the UAE decided to take it, and like they hoisted their flags on it and like put portraits of their prince all over it. And so they pretty much pulled a Crimea on the island. But sadly, it only lasted like 5 before Saudi Arabia kind of forced them to give it back to Yemen.
Oh man,
That's actually a pretty sizable island.
I know, that's why I was so surprised. Like not only
compared
were
to
the maps are changing, but we're going to have a UAE colonial empire.
yeah, like compared to Africa, it's small, but I'd say that's like a state size thing. Does
And the
anybody live
idea,
on it?
oh yeah.
Oh,
And what's you should look at their trees, by the way, they're really cool.
yeah.
But the main benefits of that island, there were several things. One, it's an important trade route center because it's right Indian Ocean, coast of Africa, and the Red Sea, where they all just kind of meet over there, and so it would have been a good like trade location. And then also, because of like the shape of the island, it has a long like I forget the size, but it was like a kilometer long landing strip. So it would have been great for planes, and like the UAE and Saudi Arabia have kind of hated each other since the UAE finally got rich. And so the idea was, oh, now we have an air base we can maybe use against Saudi Arabia in the future.
I'm gonna see how big this is compared to. Oh, it's like the size of. It's like the size of Northwest Ohio, so yeah, it's pretty decently sized.
Yeah,
Man,
but I was
it's
just
very
excited.
strategically important.
yes.
But I was just excited for a new colonial empire because you got to love those, and B for changing the map. But
Yeah,
Saudi
colonialism,
Arabia
it worked
had
so
to
great
force
last
them
time.
to give it back. So now that they've given it back to Yemen, I don't know. But it should be interesting because hilariously, the side in the Yemeni civil war that they took it from was the side that they were financially supporting. So they essentially stabbed Yemen in the back. So that should be interesting.
Yeah,
This is the
treating Yemen.
This is the content you guys subscribe for. Oh yeah.
Yes.
There's like a genocidal war happening against the Yemenis.
Yeah,
and it's awful.
and it's really annoying. And like I know that Syria is bad, but they're only focusing on Syria, so like no one ever talks about Yemen, and it's quite depressing.
Yeah, it's super depressing.
Well, that's fun. Let's get to.
All right, so let's do some questions. So the way that we do questions usually is there's a hashtag #AskSTH on Twitter, and we can grab some questions from there. And also we prioritize to take questions from super chats too. So, we do a few of them.
We are gonna go to comments. Okay.
That's our cameraman in the back over there.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
That's the chief writer of So That Happened. Gives us our lines.
Okay. Okay. So, Tommy Jarvis asks, if you could rule a country, when and what would it be?
Are we ruling as a dictator or a democratically elected leader?
I guess we could just say dictator, because dictator's funner. So
United States, so I can fix everything.
Damn, took my idea.
I'll play I would be I'm thinking of this as like a Hearts of Iron campaign and just completely transforming the entire thing. I think I'd play as China just so I could see what would happen if China just went absolutely crazy. Like North Korea style, Chinese just went nuts and just start invading
you just went
everybody.
Back 50 years to Mao Zedong.
Yeah, like everybody, they just start invading everybody and they just don't hold back. I want to see what happens.
No.
Oh yeah, like this is
they just invade Russia and then get nuked.
This is gonna be like the orcs in 40K, just like endless streams. It's gonna be great.
Speaking of Hearts of Iron, we got a question about how hyped we are for Imperator Rome, and I know that you're excited, Cody.
Oh my god, yes. I absolutely love Rome Total War. Like I think that was one of the first strategy games I ever got into. And I've always wanted to, every time I go back to Rome Total War, I want to play it because it's like, I love the idea of taking control of the barbarians and attacking Rome and having the Gauls like control all of Italy. That's just a thing that I love. And so but I've always loved the gameplay of Paradox games more. And so when I found out that they combined Rome Total War and in a Paradox game, I fanboyed out. Actually, you know what? I fangirled out. I turned into a girl and I freaked out. Cuz that is like my dream game right there. And if you go online and you look at the maps and stuff, they have just so many tiny little specific barbarian tribes that you can take control of. So I just want to take
Now, I have a question though, because like one of the things about Rome Total War I didn't like
yeah.
was that you could only play as Rome.
No, you can play as a girl.
All right, so because like I see, this is like they chose a time that's around the Samnite Wars. Like they took the time when Alexander the Great's general declared himself the Emperor of Persia. That's the year they're starting on.
Yeah.
Which is like 336 BCE or something like that.
Yeah, like it's not gonna be global. It's gonna be basically everything from Europe to India. So you're gonna be able to play as like even tiny little individual Indian kingdoms at the time too.
Can I play as the Vandals?
Yes. Oh, you can play. You can play as a specific tribe in the Vandals. Like this is how specific we are going. Look up the
As long as it's not as complicated as EU4, I am totally.
It sounds like it's gonna mechanics wise it's gonna be somewhere between EU4 and CK2.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely gonna be more complicated than Hearts of Iron 4 and Stellaris. So
well, if I can play as Geyseric the Great, then I will totally do it.
Like this is taking place during a time when Rome is basically just a tiny little city-state. No, it's not Italy.
I thought that like by like the 300 BCE Rome was like
no. This is like
Italy Carthage. And like Corsica and Sicily. Corsica.
The map that the starting map like, the starting map that they showed. Carthage is like a little bit of Tunisia, and Rome is probably like it's like the size of the Papal States before the Papal States ended.
Yeah, Rome
like
takes
the Etruscans
over, like
are still
Sicily
there.
and Sardinia, in like the 250s.
Yeah, like you can play as the Etruscans.
Yeah, I'm looking up maps and they keep giving me 300 AD, and that's why.
Yeah,
I just look at my map.
Yeah, like it's very very specific. But and somebody says EU4 is not complicated. I mean, it's in terms of paradox games, it's a little bit complicated.
I mean, I'm the type of person to where if it takes me more than 24 hours to get the basics of a game, it's probably not fun.
Oh, come on. Hearts of Iron 4 took a little bit.
Yeah, it's saying here
but
that
not
like
24 hours. But I'm just saying, like, I'm the type of person to where if I'm putting tons of work into a game, then it just takes the fun out of it.
Oh, I have probably like 150 hours in Hearts of Iron 4.
I don't even mean like that. I'm just saying like while you're playing the game, because like Hearts of Iron 4 at least didn't take an entire day, and once I got used to it, I would I got the hang of it and all that.
EU4 is a game that is hard to get, and then it's even harder to get good at.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to play as, or it's like one thing to learn how to like conquer the world is the Ottoman Empire. Everyone figures that out after a couple days, but then like to like conquer the world as like Luxembourg is the like next like is really really tough.
Because like my favorite video game is Galaga because it's a simple shooter game and I can get into it and get out of it at any length of time, and it doesn't matter because it takes 2 seconds to learn how to play. You shoot, it dies.
I've done 573 hours in the Stellaris. That is definitely my number one.
Wow. How I tried to get into Stellaris and I keep getting my ass kicked every single time. How do you do it?
Rack up them minerals, yo.
Man, I need to get me and Tyler tried to get back into it and we just
they have an expansion coming out on Tuesday, so good time to start.
Oh, I do that. I've been just religiously playing Siege. That has been I know it's not a strategy game, but that is all me and my buddies have been doing is just Siege all the time. Not all the time, but whenever we have free time.
Now you've got a super chat asking you what's you Cody specifically about a bad fast food experience.
What is your that is quite
this is a story that needs to happen.
What is your worst fast food experience? Okay, so I think I have like 2.
So I got to know this because Cody's a man who can eat.
Yeah, okay. So once was when I was a wee lad. I was a teen. And there was this local McDonald's. It wasn't really great. It was it was all right. But I never went I basically got a McChicken and there was a bone in it. Like there was just a little square bone. I have no idea how. And I basically choked on it and I had to throw up. Um I didn't eat a McChicken for 4 years and I never went back to that McDonald's ever again. And
Yeesh.
so now every time I eat McChicken, I'm actually terrified that there's going to be a bone in it. I don't know why. But the second one was uh last year. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Me and my girlfriend, we went to Indiana and we for some reason wanted to go to this place called Shipshawana. It's basically just a giant market, and if you know anything about the Fort Wayne like Angola area, it is practically like all Amish people once you go out to a certain distance. So there's just this sort of Amish little island, um, and what this means is that there is like no like fast food or anywhere within like 15 miles of Shipshawana. So me and my girlfriend we decided, okay, we're gonna have to drive all the way up to Michigan, and we gotta cross the state line to get food. So we cross it, we get into Michigan. It takes like 20 minutes, and uh, man, I keep getting these messages. It sucks. And we decide to go to Taco Bell, and it's not great. We get like Crunchwrap and stuff. Uh, and so we come back, and for some reason we decide to drink after that, and that was a horrible mistake because we just got completely sick after eating Taco Bell and having wine. Um, so that I think we felt like shit for 3 days afterwards. So if you're ever in the
Taco Bell
Indiana,
and wine.
yeah, if you ever go to Indiana area and go to an Amish flea market, don't go to Taco Bell and get drunk. That's the lesson here.
Now, that does remind me that I did learn over, I guess this is also between this show and the last show,
Yeah.
that there is in Las Vegas, so I went to Las Vegas, that there's a Taco Bell there that serves booze.
Oh,
And
that's
you can, you can get married there apparently. It's like that's like the saddest thing in history. You got
If-
married at a Taco Bell with booze
If
in Las Vegas.
if I ever had a worst enemy and I could like control him for like one, I don't have a worst enemy, but if I did, I would control him. I'd find some random chick and I'd marry her in his body in a Taco Bell in Las Vegas. That would be
Yo,
that'd be the best way to ruin somebody's life. I'd do
Ready the Death Note.
it.
that is.
If I had the
that's
Infinity
noteworthy.
Gauntlet, I'd do.
You,
Instead,
you snap your fingers, and half of all the Taco Bells in the country just magically disappear, and
Perfectly
the only one left
balanced.
in Las Vegas is the wedding one.
yeah, you see,
Oh man.
you got to get the burrito stone. That's the way that you can control. You can have the reality stone and time stone and everything, but you can't control Mexican food until you have that specific stone. So
Maybe there's like different infinity stones for different types of Mexican food, or like the different elements. Like there's like a beef one, and there's like a taco shell one. And
there's
like,
one for Tex-Mex and there's one for
Yeah.
like northern Mexican, then southern Mexican.
And the final stone is the mariachi stone.
Oh,
You have to like get the golden tuba and like melt it down into a stone.
Someone
That
write
would
to
completely
Taco
ruin
Bell.
it.
We can give them this wonderful meal idea of the Taco Infinity Gauntlet Challenge.
you can remove half of your bowels by this good old challenge. Perfectly balanced.
Just give them like a giant gauntlet made out of taco shell, and you just have like taco shit all over it, and you have to eat it
It's
while
their
it's on your arm.
it's their I'm not joking. I would unironically do that. If they sold that, I'd eat it. I'd do it.
You're a brave man.
Thank you.
You're a gustatorial champion.
But anyway, oh yeah, Fry said, he said, "Hey Cody, I was born and raised in Toledo. Huge inspiration. Thanks, man. It's cool seeing people who are actually from Toledo, and it's weird when they have YouTube channels too. There is a YouTube channel called Scott the Waz, and I actually followed him because, you know, I love that type of content. I kind of like the completionist sort of video game reviewer content. And it was weird because I was watching one of his videos, and he was outside of the hospital, of this hospital called St. Luke's, and I said, "Wait, that looks so familiar." And it turns out he lives in literally like in my hometown. He's from my hometown. He has like 200, 300,000 subscribers. And it was weird. So if you want to check out a channel, check out that, because he's pretty interesting. I think we should go to, you have to work. Oh, somebody said you have to work on those and us. Yeah, I do. I know. I know I do.
Could be worse.
I could say like a lot. I'm trying to not say like. Do I say like?
By the
a
way,
lot?
no, but Cody, I have to ask you this while we're talking about words we can't help saying.
Yeah.
I saw this thing on the internet, and apparently it was a thing like a few months ago. So I don't know if you've already heard it or not, but apparently if you live in the Midwest, saying "ope" is a big thing, but like it's only in the Midwest. Like, do you say "ope"?
I know. Yes. I didn't.
But like you bump into someone, "ope." Like,
I say it.
O-P-E, excuse me.
I say it whenever I'm going around somebody and like they're sitting and I like have to navigate, like they have to move their chair and stuff. I go like, "Oh, excuse me." Or if I'm in a movie theater and I gotta like scoot on past, I go like, "Oop, sorry."
Oh man.
And it's not like "oh" or "oops."
I thought
it's like "ope."
It's like "oop, oop." I thought everybody said it.
No, apparently it's a Midwest thing.
Weird. Like,
I know.
I just say sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. I've apologized to a chair for bumping into it before.
Well, you know.
And now it all
Yeah,
makes sense.
I'm sure you gave Canada. Hey, how do you feel about Deadpool representing your country, Tristan?
Oh man, I haven't seen Deadpool 2 yet, but the first one was pretty good. And Ryan Reynolds is a national treasure, so
Green Lantern.
You actually should. Like, I'm not gonna put any spoilers, but Deadpool 2 is better than Deadpool 1. That's my show.
I am behind on movies. I always go to the second run, so I went to the movies. I went to go see Black Panther a couple months ago, and it wound up being like $60. So I'm like, yep, I'm going to second run theaters now.
Man, are they still having Black Panther in theaters? I don't think they actually.
Yep.
Man, they're.
And it is the third highest grossing movie of all time in the United States.
Wait, what? No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
That movie just won't quit.
Are you kidding me? Seriously?
No, for the United States, yeah.
Wow. That is. Wow.
In fact, here are the top 10 highest grossing films in the United States in terms of box office.
Well,
keep in mind inflation.
No, I'm not including inflation.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are going to be recent. 10, Rogue One. 9, The Dark Knight. 8, Avengers Infinity War. So that's already there, and it's only been a few weeks.
Yeah.
7, Star Wars The Last Jedi. 6, the original Avengers movie. 5, Jurassic World. 4, Titanic. That one is still there. 3, Black Panther, which is at $697.7 million. And 2 is Avatar at $760 million. And number 1 is Star Wars The Force Awakens, $936 million. So just shy of $1 billion.
I hate Jurassic World. I absolutely hate it.
It was a very bad movie. They're not going to trick me twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Izzy said she wants to go see it. I'm like, nope. You can go up
But
without me.
We have a
Nope.
super chat request for an extraordinarily specific alternate history of northeastern Ohio.
Oh my god. Do
Do
an
an alternate
alternate.
history of the Ashtabula chemical plant, crystal chemical plant, if it never dumped chemicals into the Ashtabula River in Northeast Ohio. Cody, this one's on you.
This explains Cleveland so much.
I don't know Northeast Ohio. I know Northwest Ohio. I don't. I. Nobody talks about Cleveland. We don't talk about Cleveland.
Unless we're making fun of it.
We talk about the river catching on fire and that's it. We just kind of let them be. We already have to deal with the Browns around here. I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm not gonna focus on Cleveland.
And for the record, he's talking about the Cleveland Browns in case you took that the wrong way. That's a sports team.
Oh yeah. Oh well. So.
But also, if you want to include inflation, the highest grossing movie in the United States is Gone with the Wind, 1.8 billion modern dollars.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like that movie must have been like, man, if I was alive in the '60s, I guess that'd just be like the thing to see.
Well, it was from 1939.
only thing
oh,
to see.
1939.
It's like the
But
only
it
thing to
did
see.
have a few re-releases in the 60s just because it was so popular. But its original gross, if you take away inflation, is 198 million.
Like we will
Still
never
pretty
get the numbers that like the Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind had, just because there's so much media choice now.
Well,
Yeah, that was
almost,
like the one thing you had for like the quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Star Wars: The Force Awakens, even if you include inflation, is number 11, and so it's just right outside it. And if you include inflation, Titanic is actually number 5.
How did Titanic sell so much? Like I don't.
Remember, it was in okay. I forgot that you guys were like pretty young in 1998.
I was 1.
Yeah.
1990.
I was 4.
I remember the summer of Titanic very well.
Oh boy.
Because I was the tender age of 9 or 10 or whatever age I was. But yeah, it was in theaters for over 6 months. Teenage girls, moms loved that movie so much, and I think everybody ended up having to see it because it just was like the date movie, and then it was just never out of theaters. Like I think nothing good came out in most of that summer, so it was just nonstop. Titanic, I remember it being like, we were like, it's still in theaters, and it's like 7 months later.
Oh god.
And so basically on a long enough time scale, everyone saw it.
So
It was the highest grossing movie in the United States until Avatar came along.
this is kind of related. Do you think Avatar 2 will fail? I think it will.
I don't think it's even going to come out.
Oh really? I think they said 2020, didn't they?
I remember in
So vaporware movie.
I remember like in 2007 or whatever year the Avatar movie came out, that James Cameron already said once it was successful, like, oh yeah, we're going to have 5 sequels. I'm like, it's not going to happen. And then here we are, and the second one hasn't even come out yet.
I think James Cameron's actually gone Ridley Scott. I think he's gone crazy a little bit, or at least like, I mean, James Cameron's an asshole. We're gonna just say, like, we all know.
Yeah,
he is so overambitious, and people say, oh, don't doubt James Cameron because people doubted him before with Titanic
and Terminator
and with Avatar, and they said that was gonna fail. Yeah, but the difference here is that everybody knows what Avatar is, and that like Avatar, if somebody didn't like the story in the first one, which like nobody liked the story in the first one,
it was Dances with Wolves retold for the 500,000th time.
Yeah, like
Dances with Wolves.
I think
meets
it's not
Star
just
Wars and Fern Gully.
I don't even think it's just it's super expensive, isn't it? Isn't it like the high?
Oh yeah,
like $1 billion.
Well, it didn't cost $1 billion to make now.
Oh,
But like no one remembers that movie. Like,
has
I don't
costed
remember
that
anything about what happened in that movie.
yeah.
All.
Like
It's Dances with Wolves.
I mean, even if Avatar 2 does come out, there is no way Avatar 3 and Avatar 4 are ever even going to be made.
And if they are, wow.
I mean, this could be so. And you know what? I wouldn't care. I'd laugh at Avatar 2 failed because.
Hey, it took Incredibles 2 14 years. Why not?
Yeah.
I really hope that's good.
I do too.
I was in 2nd grade when that movie came out, and now I'm a 3rd-year college student.
Wait, is this Avatar?
No, The Incredibles.
Oh, okay. I was supposed to say, like, if you were in second grade in like 2009, I would be.
Nah, nah.
Oh my god.
But also, the second highest grossing movie, including inflation, is actually the original Star Wars at 1.6 billion. So Star Wars got close to Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, Star Wars coming back from the dead was a pretty exciting moment. I remember being pretty pumped.
Too bad it's going back in the grave. Ooh.
No, it's not.
We're gonna get a Star Wars
One
movie
every
until the end of the
year.
universe.
Do you think Solo's actually? I don't think Solo's gonna flop. I think it's gonna do it's gonna do all right. Like,
It'll do fine, but
all of them are gonna do all right for like a long time.
yeah.
But I'm just mainly upset because Star Wars used to be like a few times in the generation type thing. Like oh my gosh, the next Star Wars is going to come out. But now that they're pumping a Star Wars related movie every year, it's like, oh, the next Star Wars movie's coming out.
Yeah. Like people are
And
saying, they can pump out all these Marvel movies, but
that's
Marvel
different.
movies,
This is the first time we're seeing these guys on the screen.
yeah, like Marvel movies work because it is a consecutive story, even if they're separate stories. There's still a thing, a greater universe to it. Star Wars is weird because it should have that greater universe thing going for it, but it almost feels
Disney
like
said it's not canon anymore.
But it almost feels like it's so limited and small. Like that's my greatest thing I hate about the new movies is people say, "Oh, you don't like it because it took new stuff." No, I didn't like it because it felt so pointlessly small. Like this felt like kids just slapping each other in the backyard.
But like the magic is gone, and the fact that the magic of Star Wars has somehow been taken away from me, it's really depressing.
Some of them are going to be good, and some of them are going to be bad, and that's just how it's going to be.
They killed
Even the
my
ones
childhood.
that are good are so by the numbers, though.
Welcome to 21st century movies.
Yeah, by 20th Century Fox.
Okay, so Izzy, unrelated, asks if you could eradicate anything in the world, what would it be? Whee!
Anything or anyone?
I guess anything qualifies as anyone and anything. Ooh.
Well, we've already made this podcast political enough, so I'll have to think of someone else.
I don't think it's not that political. Like that's the thing. Our thing that we're talking about is just is the media is talking bad about the media political? Is that a thing? I thought everybody hates the media.
No, I'm saying like I don't want to escalate.
Oh. What were you going to say? It's okay. It's just going to, completely ruin our credibility, and I'll have to.
And maybe put me on a list.
Oh man.
Ah, shit! I've already seen my name in brackets. I'm going to eliminate fascism.
That was
actually,
a shock.
What? Yeah. I'll just pick an entire ideology. Yeah. I'll just pick. Maybe I could be more general. I'll just say like. I'll put authoritarian - extremists, so that way I can get all of them.
I want to eradicate half of the universe.
Oh no.
Perfectly balanced. Yep. That's my ideology. Why not?
Man, I really got to see that movie.
You do. Damn, dude.
The last movie I saw in theaters was Black Panther. And there's some I didn't even see in theaters. Like I didn't see Spider-Man in theaters. I had to wait till it came out on DVD.
Which, by the way, my history geek was so happy with that movie because there were so many like small things from like African culture that I noticed that were just spot on, and it was awesome.
I know that part where they spoke an African dialect. I was like, I got that reference.
And like also like the whole idea of like having like battles for the king and stuff like that. That was actually how it worked in several African civilizations and stuff like that. Or like, the type of dress they wore, the type of jewelry they had. Like they really put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah. But anyway, getting on to more questions. It'll be fun. Okay, I guess we'll get into I'll just go through the super chat a little bit. Perry Dope says winter or summer. Summer, definitely. I think I've talked about this before, right? How I absolutely hate winter. Winter is winter in Ohio is
I
different
mean,
than
you're literally
winter.
moving to Texas so that you'll never have to deal with winter again.
Yeah, but like winter in Ohio is not like winter in Denver or anywhere else. It's probably like a month of snow, and then it's like 3, 4, 5 months of everything's just dead, like Fallout 3 level dead, and the geography here is just flat, just completely flat. And the only, I would say, geography is the interstates. So,
And cornfields.
and cornfields, which are all dead. There's just brown fields. That's all it is. There is no grasslands. There's no anything. It's just brown fields.
Meanwhile, in Texas, it's like that King of the Hill episodes where as soon as there's a light drizzle of snow, everyone treats it like it's an apocalyptic emergency.
Dale, I'll kick your ass. But yeah. Um,
You are way too good at that voice.
Shut up. That's my. I've been secretly planning my whole life to be Hank Hill.
Dale, why would
I'm not even
government
joking. Not even joking. I've said this before. I said Tyler though. Tyler's just like Dale, just like Dale. He looks like Dale. He speaks like Dale sometimes, and he like has conspiracy theories like Dale.
Oh no!
It is. Crazy.
So alternate history and alternate history accessories.
Why would global
Pocket
warming
sand.
be a government plot? Global warming sounds like globalism to me.
Dale,
it's already 101 degrees in Arlen every summer, and if it gets 1 degree warmer, I'm gonna walk over to your house and kick your ass.
do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
Oh God, that was so good. That was too good. That was like unnaturally good.
You know, the problem is that you're driving a Ford, and you know what they say about Fords? Fix it again, Ted.
Wait a minute.
That's a Fiat, Dale.
That means I'm gonna be Bill, isn't it?
A-T. Oh, yeah.
Oh shit. But yeah,
Pocket sand. Cha.
Shasha. We're going.
I am very sorry. Please take my hand and my elbow and emoji.
Oh, that's funny. But anyway, God, I forgot what I was saying now. Oh yeah, so Medic Pack asks, "What if the Ugandan Knuckles was never a meme? We'd live in a better place."
The world would be a better place.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna say to that. That's it. That's all we're gonna. That's all we did. Thank you.
2018 is like the year where memes had like a half-life of like 6.5 minutes.
I think 2018 is the year where memes like died. There are like barely any memes right now. I think.
And when everything's a meme, nothing will be.
Like the last meme I distinctly remember was in like February, and now there's like nothing. Like
there's the Infinity War memes.
There's also the what's it called, the Captain America PSA meme right now.
Oh yeah, the Infinity War memes are like the best one. Though This Is America, that one kind of died. It sucks because I had I actually made a video of that on I have a secret shitpost channel that I never will ever show anybody, but I sometimes tweet it. I tweet it sometimes, but I made a mix of This Is America with Ocean Man, and it fit very well.
This Is America was a good song.
It was a good song. I think everybody knows. I think everybody knows that. So anyway, Darth Kilhoun, first of the Grey Sith, says, "Do an alternate history of Hillary Clinton won the election." That's bad grammar. "And with the possibility of civil war or the German-American boon force America to surrender."
Don't
I don't want to die.
Every single time that there's an election, they assume that if the side they don't want to win wins, there's going to be a civil war. Like they've said that for like the past 5 elections now.
Americans would never do a civil war.
If Hillary Clinton won the war or won the election, like shit, man, like the world would be so boring right now.
I know, right? Like, actually,
it's like it'd be hard because like Trump's only been in office for like a year. So if Hillary Clinton's only been in office for a year, like that doesn't change
the
that
good thing with
much.
Trump winning is that question of what would have happened if he did win was answered. Like if he
Because
had
that would definitely have been a video you
this
had
would
to make.
this would have been like the ultimate alternate history thing. That's why it feels like an alternate history thing. Like, what if Trump won? What would the world be like? So we
I
are
think
living
Harry
in our
Turtledove said that.
we are living in our own alternate timeline, and it is
We are living in Back to the Future too.
Yeah, I do feel like there is like a good chance that somehow like videos of Hillary Clinton winning the election are going to start coming out in these like film reels via Man in the High Castle, and like there's going to be like the grasshopper lies deeply or whatever, and these like
Yeah.
secret videos.
I think ultimately this is going to turn out like Nixon 2.0, and then it's just going to be a little note in the history books.
I think it all depends on Korea. Depends on how Korea goes.
Oh, he's already blown that.
If Korea, didn't
Oh,
they
did you
say
hear what
didn't
happened?
they say that they're gonna quit the military, the whole military thing?
Well, yeah, but then they did a military exercise anyway.
No, they
and
said
now
they were
Kim
going.
Jong-un-
They said they were going to quit the military exercises so North
Did
Korea
they?
wouldn't be pissed. Yeah,
I'm surprised because John Bolton went on TV and said, "Well, if they don't cooperate, maybe we'll have to do
that's
the
what
Libya
I heard
model on them."
though.
And
I haven't seen like
Wouldn't be the
anything.
first time
I
that
haven't
like
seen like
Trump and his staff disagreed on the things that they said in public.
yeah, I haven't heard.
That's fair.
I haven't seen like anything about it though, so who knows? But anyway, we're going down. What if Prussia never existed? Germany's just all Catholic.
everything would be different.
It's all
The
Catholic.
Bavarian Empire. The sun never sets on the Bavarian Empire.
Oh man, that actually seems like it would be more consistent. You have the Holy Roman Empire, and then you have Austria, and that's just Germany. Just has like a bright yellow flag. It's like super happy. Everything's just
And after
nice.
Prussia defeated Austria in the Austro-Prussian War, no one expected when the Bavarians attacked and took over both of them.
Everything changed when the Bavarian nation attacked.
And then you see them like pretzel bend.
Ian Hall says, for a laugh, alternate history story. What if everyone trusted the media because of new legislation? Because no one would ever trust the media again.
So then we'd have to go all the way back to yellow journalism, which is from the early 1900s.
Yeah, that I don't even know how to answer that. I would just say what Tiger Star said. That works.
I mean, not trusting the media has kind of gone in and out in various cycles, but I think of yellow journalism when people trusted the media so much that we falsely went to war with Spain. And after that, there was a bit of a backlash, but then we trusted media again for a little bit, but then there was Watergate, and then we stopped trusting anything at all. And it's kind of gone downhill since then.
Okay, so I'm gonna read some from one from Twitter. Justinian says, "Do you guys have any shooting hobbies? Nerf, airsoft, paintball, guns. What do you use for that hobby?" I don't know about you, Tristan, but in the good old land of America, I do shooting. My buddy has a property out in the middle of the country. And we bring rifles and pistols out, and we just shoot across the lake. I have a 44 Magnum Blackhawk, and that's usually what I shoot. It hurts the hand though. And then I bought a 9mm just for target practice. But what about you, Tiger Star? What do you shoot anything?
I mean, I tried airsoft for a while, and of course, as a kid, I had a ton of Nerf guns, just like every other kid.
Yeah.
I guess I had an actual rubber band gun when I was like 5, where like you just actually put a rubber band and like a clothespin on a piece of wood, and you just press on the clothespin, and you could fire rubber bands at like a gajillion miles per hour, and it left a mark.
We used to do. Me and my friends used to film videos, like shitty little home video stuff. And so we had like 20 to 30 airsoft guns, and yeah, we would go out and we'd go up to Michigan and have airsoft wars with a few guys, and yeah, so that was fun. Also, people in the chat No, that's not what the Magnum's called. Don't take it that way. It is Black Hawk. Black Hawk. Like the bird. Not the other thing. Please stop that. Anyway.
Oh my. Now I get it. Okay.
Just
So-
watch. Instead of
Oh, it's gonna get worse.
instead of
It's funny.
no, instead of like gun control legislation, regardless of what you think, somehow like within 2 days of this podcast, Congress will unanimously pass an act that renames all of the guns. So like all the guns have different names. So like instead yours will be called like the slate chicken gun instead.
No, that'll
Something
stop.
that has
That'll
no
stop
connotation.
these shootings. It'll work.
So I have shot guns on a couple of occasions. I used to live in Quebec, and I had a friend who actually owned like a lot of property. And on 2 occasions, we went out and shot clay pigeons and shot like this old sugar shack that was kind of in the woods. And one of those, I got to fire a black powder muzzle-loaded rifle, which was kind of fun. And he didn't have to have a license for it because the model was pre-1890, which I thought was kind of cool. And like it explodes like a big cloud of smoke and everything like that, and you have to use like blasting caps and everything. It was kind of neat. I always was saying like, die Confederate scum and then firing. It was great. But now I live like downtown in a gigantic city, and I live in an apartment that is 750 square feet. So like, no things exist anymore.
I'd imagine that'd be kind of limited from doing that.
Just a tad.
Yeah, that's cool. So I think we'll just do a few more, and then we should probably wrap this up. We're only an hour. It felt like we talked about so much stuff during this.
Yeah, I got dinner waiting. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, so we'll do like 2 more. Let me just look through. Beep boop bop. Beep boop bop.
Boo boo beep.
Beep boop bop 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 bop.
I'm the scat man.
I think we'll just do. Okay. Yeah, we'll just do one. We'll end on a happy note. What is your favorite recent video game?
Ooh.
Recent as in that we've recently started playing, or recent as in recently came out?
What's just recently you started playing? One
So
that you got
basically,
into.
like this guy I hang out with, he got me into Arma 3.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's fun because he has like 25 mods that I downloaded, but once I downloaded it, it made the game a billion times better.
Yeah, Arma 3 with mods wasn't that where PUBG came from? Was his Arma?
No,
mod?
it's where DayZ came from.
Oh yeah, DayZ came from Arma, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, it was an
Yeah.
Arma 3 mod.
Yeah,
and
so
then
like so like everything came from Arma, and
But like it's like so immersive. So like one of the mods is like a thing that hooks up with TeamSpeak to where if you're in the game with your players and you talk and a player walks further away, they get like quiet.
oh, that's cool.
Like, type of thing. And so like if you're on the other side of the map yelling for help, no one's going to hear you type thing. And or like real time, or like weather changes, like things like that makes it really immersive. And we play maps like, oh, these guys are cooking meth in the woods and we're like on a SWAT team and we have to sneak in there and blow up the compound or something like that. So like most shooter games I don't get into because usually it's just spawn, shoot, die, respawn, shoot, die,
Yeah.
over and over again. But this one focuses a lot on like sneaking around and actually like trying to have a strategy. And so I've been playing that a lot recently.
Oh, a guy from the comments, Matthew Miller says, DayZ. You said, man, Tristan, you're so Canadian. DayZ. DayZ was from Arma. H1Z1 was a DayZ mod. Then we got PUBG. And then he said Fortnite.
Yeah, I think PUBG was its own thing. I don't think it was a mod.
Yeah, no, PUBG was a mod. Yeah, it was
Really?
Yeah, it was called a PlayerUnknown's Battleground. and that was its own independent mod, and then they made it a game. So that's why it plays
Cool.
like a mod and has such horrible optimization, because it's made by modders and not actual game designers.
Yeah, but I mean, like, and this is gonna give me this is probably the most controversial thing I've ever said in the history of the podcast. But
Oh,
like, Fortnite always ends up in these crazy situations where like you have like Dragon Ball Z fights like between like people building like counter ramps on each other, and it's
Yeah.
like ridiculous and dumb. And I'm like, yeah,
Oh
this
yeah,
is dumb.
I try to get into Fortnite, and even though it runs better, the gameplay I just cannot get into at all.
Dragon Ball Z. It hurts to hear you say that.
And
I
this
know
is, people
I
are gonna
did that
hate me,
intentionally just for fun.
and people are gonna hate me for this, but I actually am kind of looking forward to Call of Duty's Battle Royale mode a little bit. I mean,
Well,
if they
aren't
can
you
actually
a normie?
if they can actually implement well, I mean, if this is going to be a trend, if Battle Royale is going to be a new trend, if somebody can do it actually well, that's not PUBG or Fortnite, you know? Like because PUBG, I love the realistic aspect of it, but it just isn't optimized well at all. In Fortnite, I just can't get into it. I can't do buildings. I can't do like shooting in that game is jumping up and down and bunny hopping. Like if you can bunny hop the best, that's how you win. And I can't do that shit. I'm not doing that.
All right, you know what I would say is the best, like most recent game that I got into, and it's probably one of them, like one of the closest connections between video game release and me playing it.
Yeah.
And I have lost now 2 like solid weekends to this game, and it's Breath of the Wild.
Oh.
I just went fucking bananas with
yeah.
Breath of the Wild in the last like couple weeks.
Fucking. I actually want to get into that. I left my Switch downstairs in my friend's apartment though, so I need to go. I need to go get that. But I'm so worried because it's like I know when I start playing it, I'm gonna just lose an entire week of work just because I'm gonna be so absorbed into it. I did that with
Because
Odyssey.
I know like my buddy Thought Slime and myself, like we both got into it again around the same time, and like we're just like, man, we were part of a book club, and it was just like, you know, what's the worst thing for trying to start a book club? Getting really into Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Odyssey's the same way too. It's just
yeah. I got that waiting for when I finish Zelda.
Yeah. Good luck. But yeah, mine. I guess I already said Siege. I've been.
What is Siege? I've never heard of it.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, like I guess I'll talk about more, but yeah, like I don't know, it's just I think it has like the perfect shooting mechanics, and it is it's the whole tactic. I don't know, it's the whole tactical thing of it. And it's you only have one life, so there's no respawns, and if you make a fuck up, if you must have a mistake in it, you know, you're going to get punished for it, and then you learn your mistakes. It's the only game that I actually enjoy watching esports for. And the esport actually today I was just watching the championships live. And I never do that for any other game except for Siege. Yeah, the Lord Tachanka.
You're not liking the Overwatch League?
I tried to get in. I tried. I tried to get into Overwatch, and I was into it for like 6 months, and I don't know why. I just got bored of it. I just got sick of it.
Overwatch it's like one of these. This happens with every Blizzard game, and I don't know why Blizzard designs their games in the same fashion every single time.
Yeah.
Where like if you want to play the game, you can enjoy it to a certain point, and then you hit a point where if you want to get better at the game and enjoy it anymore, you have to spend every waking moment of your life dedicated to getting better at that game.
Oh.
And if you don't do it, then you instantly hate the game.
But Overwatch is also bad because it is specifically like people compare Overwatch and Siege all the time, and it's for a good reason. Overwatch is a game that you need your team to do. Like, just certain characters are completely different from one another. So if you have a Tracer, that Tracer is not going to win in certain situations against like a Roadhog. So if you are a Tracer and you're by yourself and you need to like capture a point and the entire game is on you, like you are not going to win that. But in Siege, you know, you can do those clutch situations. You can there are people that can go 1v5 simply because they're better at the game, that you can't do that in Overwatch. And I don't know. I mean, some people like that. Some people like that whole team aspect that we all have to work together. But in casual Overwatch, and we're not talking pro, is in casual where everybody's an idiot, you are going to have a horrible time. But in Siege, everybody's an idiot in Siege, but you can still sort of take over and win even if everybody's fucking up. So yeah, that's probably like the main aspect why I don't do Overwatch anymore. It's just casual is just cancerous.
Yeah, and you need to have like 6 friends, and that's hard to organize. And then when you do organize, you kind of like you're gonna be playing for the whole night.
Yeah,
and
you're
like
playing for the whole night. You're gonna get stressed. You're gonna get angry, and I don't know. See, like
so some like things you should be doing while you're like supposed to be having fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's just who knows? Oh yeah, I keep getting messages on Facebook. I'm sorry, people. But anyway, yeah, that is.
So that happened.
Yeah, so that happened. Anyway, I'm trying to think of how to finish this, but yeah, so thank you everybody. Okay, you know what? I'm sick of that. That is okay. Bye.
Well,
Bye, Facebook.
good night, everybody.
Bye, Facebook. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching, listening to our rants. I think we had a good time. Fun by all. We will be back probably next week.
Yay!
I'm.
Inshallah, we'll do the show next week.
Well, yes, we'll do it. It'll be good. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. We will be back eventually, sometime. I'm not gonna make that promise.
That sounds more accurate.
We'll be back eventually. We will not die. It'll be good. Yeah. So I'm Cody.
I'm Emperor Tiger Star.
And I'm stepbackhistory.com. Wait, I'm Tristan.
There you go.
He's Tristan from Yu-Gi-Oh!
And this is the So That Happened podcast. Everybody get out of